Guys, the best part about owning new dailies is that manufacturers always know best. This is my new 2025 Toyota GR86/BRZ/FRS/ whatever the you want to call it. It's the Toyota variant of the twins. That's all you need to know. And the best part of this car is that it's brand new. Toyota knows best. So you just don't need anything crazy. You don't need to do tint jobs. You don't need a massive subwoofer. You don't even need some crazy loud exhaust for this thing. Toyota quite clearly knows the target audience for this vehicle because this is actually an OEM piece. Toyota will sell you, with the purchase of your new GR86, a 10-inch kicker sub in their own box. The kit comes with all the mounting hardware, full instructions, all the wiring, anything you could possibly need to get this thing in there, assuming you're okay with taking apart your entire interior. Let me tell you, this is a must-have. I don't know how I was driving this car without it. That being said, let me actually walk you through what this thing looks like to install because it is a doozy.
Starting off with disassembly, you're going to want to get into the trunk and remove both the all-weather mat, if equipped, and the trunk floor, which kind of just folds up and out. Now up front, let's pop the hood, because you're going to need to take the entire battery out. Not just unplugged, like fully out, because a drill has to fit down there later. Most of the work here is done on the passenger side of the car, so pop off the dash cover with a trim tool and remove the glove box by disconnecting the soft open damper with a Phillips head screw and lifting it off its hinges. When people use the term Subaru Legos, it really stands out here because the rest of the interior pulls out with a little bit of force and 2 Phillips head screws in total.
This one wasn't even tight.
With the dash taken apart, you should be looking like this. Next, send the door seal to meet its maker and pop the carpet off the pinch weld. Back of the trunk, there's like 20 different plastic push tabs that you have to pop out on either side before you can fandangle the 3 trim pieces up and out of the trunk. The rear passenger seat is held in with a single bolt down low and should theoretically lift out with the right angle. I had a painfully hard time with this, and be careful because the airbag sensor is on the back of that lower seat. The big rear interior panel genuinely just pops out with a few retaining clips. Just work your hand under it as you go and you won't break anything, I promise. Up front, you're going to start laying down the harness where it needs to feed to the back of the car and up to the head unit, which I would love to show you, but my big fat head is in the way of the shot. 4 bolts hold the head unit to the dashboard. Just throw down a microfiber and set it on the shifter for support while you add in the new harness you just snaked up from the footwell. No wiring needed here, Toyota makes it plug and play, super nice and easy. That harness now has to run all the way back to the driver's side of the trunk. Start the run under the carpet where they have a channel for wires to go and keep it going following the pre-existing wiring that heads in that direction already. Toyota sends like 50 zip ties with the kit so you can clean it up as you go. That foam tape I just put down is used for the spot where you don't have any other wire to zip tie the new wires to. After you put that down, just use the holes in the chassis for anchor points. Next, you need to install a riv nut in the hole next to the driver's side trim panel. Then bolt in the bracket thingy they send. This will be used to attach the sub to the chassis through the interior panel in 2 spots with the trim in place. I'm talking here, and also here. And now you get to do the opposite of everything we just did. Trunk trim goes back in, 20-something clips, yada yada, you get the gist. I will say for the middle part that goes on last in the trunk, make sure you peel back the weather seal, otherwise it gets caught under it when you put it down and it won't seal right. I did this like 2 times in a row like a moron. And with everything back together, now's the fun part. Place the sub into the car and hook up the wires which you left conveniently draped over the trim, and use the little thumb screws the kit provides to lock the sub in place. Assemble the thumb screws like so, to avoid rattling as the sub's going off. One goes in the front and the other goes in the back. Can we skip this shot, please? Anytime. Really? We're gonna do, okay, yep, we're gonna do this, yep. Now, if you want a clean radar detector install, this bit is for you. Uniden's hardware kit is insanely straightforward to use. Just pull that side panel we used earlier off the driver's side to allow access for the cables to run to the top of the dash, and pick any fuse that's always on with the car to pop the fuse tab into. I believe I have mine running off the audio circuit. After that, just pull the power cable along through, you're home free, super clean. Oh, and don't forget the battery, that's still out of the car since we removed it to poke a hole for the sub-power lead through the main wiring grommet. So let's just throw this guy back in here, reattach the power, positive first, followed by the negative. Stay safe, kids.
So this is also kind of the part of the episode where I'd reveal what wheels we're doing on this car. But my car, for whatever reason, came on the 18-inch GR wheels, which are forged, look sick, and despite the fact that I don't really like black wheels, these ones are actually really cool and it's a nice finish. So we're gonna be leaving these wheels and the stock Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's on it, because you know what? It's a lot of fun as is. But now, moving to the back of the car. The stock exhaust needs, Jesus. First of all, the tips are inset like 1.5 inches to 2 inches. I'm not really sure why. You can buy kits that just bring the stock tips out, but it really doesn't sound all that great. Take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that simply will not do. Let's fix that, shall we? So what I've done instead is I bought this. This is a two-piece... Brother! This is a two-piece axle back system from Extreme Online stores. I don't know if they're reputable at all. But honestly, it's in pretty good nick. Brandy new for 250 bucks shipped to your door. This is not sponsored. I don't know how this is gonna sound. It can't be worse than the stock exhaust.
I cannot stress enough how simple the muffler is to remove on this car. However, I will caution you to do as I say, not as I do here. Take the time to put the car up on jack stands and do not just use a floor jack like my goofy ass. The jack point for the rear of the car is the differential itself, so get it in the air and start by taking off the 2 bolts holding the muffler pipe to the mid pipe. They're tight and at a really annoying angle, so take your time, find a good position to lay in and get comfy. Next comes the 4 exhaust hangers that keep the muffler section in place. These are a massive pain to get out dry, so I highly recommend buying some silicone made for this exact purpose. Also, an exhaust tool will save you literally an hour of work here. Just spend the money, it's so worth it. Now don't let the old muffler fall on your face when it drops out, because that thing is going right in the bin. Hanging the new muffler section is easier with 2 people, so you can make sure the tips are lined up. I didn't, you should. Insert the 4 hangers through the rubber and tighten all 4 bolts down to some torque figure that I didn't do, but is definitely in the instructions that you should definitely read. Finally, let's bring the car down and you can admire your handiwork. Surely it won't sound like ass, right?
Oh my god.
It sounds good. It sounds good.
It do be sounding good.